Let me light my incense
Okay, it
here.
says we are live. The notifications are probably dropping, and already I usually wait till about 5 or 7 seconds to say hello, start talking. Hello, everybody. This YouTube StreamYard has that bit of a delay. So,
Hello.
hello, everybody. Thank you for
Hello.
joining Nancy and I again today for another Divine Feminine. And we have people already in chat. And of course,
Yes.
before the live, I was okay. Now it's like a burp wants to come up, and I'm trying to talk and be slow and trying to breathe so that I'm not anyway. And I promise I've only been
Just
drinking
let it
water.
out, Heather. Let
There's
it
only
out.
water. I actually had a belch one day when and the second this guy I was seeing, instead of being like, oh, he was like, hey, not bad.
Oh
But
my goodness.
okay, there we go. So today we are talking about Mother Mary, and as you can see behind me, she is one of my goddesses. I think she's like my patron. Um, she's the one that guides me and leads me to, especially when I need to work with other guides or other goddesses, or I'll take a look at other beliefs. She's always there. I know that she's got my back.
Mhm.
And last week, Ange, not Ange, I'm sorry. I was looking down and I saw your name, Ange, in chat. Nancy had said, well, I want to talk about Mary Magdalen, because I know there are a lot of people in our community that work with Mary Magdalen, have the Mary Magdalen decks. And she's like, well, because of the holidays too, why not we follow through with Mother Mary? And I said, okay. And one thing that I didn't get to mention to Nancy backstage, though, because I know a lot of people know that I'm starting to have interest in working with the Morgan, which is very different from Mother Mary. But when you look at root words, mor or mar, just like Mary, or Mariam, as her name is in Arabic, Mary is the Anglicized form of her name. Their all root is water, is like the sea of water. And so I've noticed that some of the gases that I tend to, I'm drawn to, have that watery connection. And of course, the divine feminine, the intuition, and everything. So Nancy was like, well, I really don't have much on Mother Mary. And I'm like, that's okay. I have plenty. But before we get started, I'll let Nancy share what she has.
Well,
Let's
I just love her. I love her. I love her presence. Um, and I think about how strong she is.
mm-hmm.
I mean, in many ways, I mean, she was like a warrior. I mean,
She
because
was.
when you think about her life, and I mean, she just experienced a lot of things that no other woman has. And I tell you, Amanda Ellis has a channel. It's called Angelic Celestial Colors, and she did a meditation where you see yourself in a stone house um, back in biblical times.
Mm-hmm.
And you're all sitting around on the floor and you're waiting for Mary to come in. And when she does, when she brings Mary in, I mean, it's like you can feel her. It's like you're drenched in her presence.
I'll have
And
to find that. That sounds
it was
beautiful.
the most beautiful thing. I'll look and see if I can find it. But it was one of the most meaningful meditations that I have ever done. Um, I mean, you, I mean, you could feel her essence. That's the only way I can explain it.
I like that.
It's
Her essence,
absolutely beautiful.
her
Yeah.
aura, her
Yeah.
essence.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
to start off, I want to say hello to Chris. Chris was here in chat. Good morning to you, Chris. Thank you for popping in. And I saw a comment a little bit earlier. Yes, we're talking about Mama Mary. Um, And Magus dropped in and said that he's excited to hear about this. We
Yeah.
love you too, Magus. Please get home safely.
Yes.
And Ange, I love our Mother Mary. Looking forward to this. And I am relaxing, drinking coffee, and listening to Lottie B play Carol of the Bells on her piano. So that is one of my favorite songs. Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy is my
Mm.
first. Carol of the Bells, and then, some of the others. But Carol of the Bells is definitely when it's done right. I absolutely love that. And so let's see, Chris coming in. So there's Hey Girl, Hey, driving home from work. So drive home safely too, my dear. We'll hopefully see you in a few minutes. And Serena, hey girl, where have you been? How are you doing, sweetheart? Everyone, this is Serena, Scorpio Mama, and Ever Inferno is here. My
Yes.
little spiritual comedian. I love you. You are adorable. You make me laugh. And Inferno's intuition. um, and so Lottie B is here. Just popping in to say hi. It's late evening and sleepy. Yes. So thank you for popping in, Lottie. And thank you again for sharing your beautiful talent with all of us
Oh,
here in the
yes.
community.
Oh,
Um, Aunt Sandy is here. Good evening, dear sir. How are you? I'm glad to have you. And let's see. Oh, we got 15 people already. Everyone's
and
saying hello.
Elizabeth says that she loves Ave Maria. And Mary,
Yes.
did you know? Every time I hear Mary, did you know, I cry. I mean, I just
I
think
think
the
I've
lyrics
heard
to
of that.
that are
Hmm.
absolutely beautiful. And of course, Ave Maria, my goodness. Yeah.
Yes. And Sarah Brightman does a beautiful version of Ave Maria too. I love Amanda Ellis. I have followed her for years. She's a bright
Yes. Oh, I
light.
love her. Yeah.
And so heavy stuff. What's heavy stuff, my dear? Um, Maruta is here. Hello, Maruta.
No.
Let's see. So yes, Alice, everyone's just saying hello to everybody. Um,
It is
Iron,
snowing. It is snowing in my house. You know, ever in front of you,
it
have
is.
to make your own magic.
There you go. And hello, Iron Fire Horse. I think this is the first time you popped into one
Yes.
of my chats. It's good to
Right.
see you. I met Iron Fire Horse, I believe, through the Chris, the Ghost Squad, and through Robert Fierro Tarot. So good to see you. And I think Robin Toadstool Tarot, if I'm not wrong. So Brightman is fantastic. Whoop. Yes, she's got an amazing voice. She really does. Um, Magic from the Magical Ladies. Aw. So, where do I start? I was raised Catholic, and growing up, Mary was always, you know, I would look forward to seeing her statues whenever we would go to church. My father worked two jobs, and one of them was at oh, Saint Anthony's, not Saint Anthony, um, oh, the saint with the animals, not Saint Anthony. Why can I not think of that saint with the animals?
St. Francis?
Thank you. My father worked for Saint Francis Home. It was a nursing home, and I would always get excited to see Sister Mary Electa whenever I would go there. Always a very loving, warm, beautiful nun. I just love when she would put her arms around me. And there was a grotto, by on the premises, and a lot of times when I could, after talking, playing with the ducks and seeing the ducks, I would always walk over to the grotto and say hello to to Mama Mary, and of course we had her in the house. And so as I got older and got to college, and I started learning about goddess worship, and I know a lot of people have heard the story a couple times, but I need to share it again because of we are discussing Mother Mary. I took a course in college called Women in Religion. The book and the class was taught by Professor Mary Ann. It's just like my brain keeps fritzing out. Mary Ann Ferguson. She had a doctorate. She was a Franciscan nun, and she, taught us, the negative side, the dark side of all the patriarchal religions, including her very own. She taught us, about goddess. She taught us about Wiccan. She taught us about, you know, every aspect of the religions and where women were concerned in the religion. And then the other half of her book was the positive, where women in modern day were trying to bring up the level of women in these patriarchal religions and wanting to continue being a part of the religion they were brought up in, and trying to embrace and to try to bring, maybe make some changes, but to also just show what they found was beautiful, what was part of their spiritual practice. And so when I asked Dr. Ferguson after class one day, aren't you supposed to be teaching us about, being Christian, being Catholic? And, I go, you're teaching us about other goddesses besides Mary. And she says, well, say Mary's not a goddess. She goes, if I help anyone find their true spiritual path, that I've done my job, on this earth. So she was just an amazing woman. And so when I left behind Christianity and Catholicism, Mary was right there. She was my goddess from day one. And of course, as I got older and being in pagan circles, not everybody appreciated me seeing Mary as a goddess. They still saw Mary as the enemy. And I can understand, because of everything done in, you know, Jesus's name, or in Christianity's name, against a lot of us who were witches or pagans, and anybody else who didn't, hold that faith. Um, and so for me, it was, again, being in, having to watch what my Christian family and friends thought of me being pagan with Mary, and then me trying to watch what my pagan friends and friends and family with, me wanting to keep Mary as God. I mean, it was, for me, it was never any question. And I even had a dream at one time. I've had several, but I do remember when I was in my 20s, I did have a dream, and I walked up to one of her grottos, and I was looking at her statue. I was looking at her face and thinking, I wish I would see her face come alive. She would talk to me. And she actually did. She didn't talk, but her face softened. The statue became real, her face. And I had asked her if what she was okay with me following a pagan path, a Wiccan path, or practicing witchcraft and learning about the goddess. And she smiled, and that's all I needed to know. It was like she gave me her blessing. And so she has always been with me, no matter if I end up going and exploring other goddesses like I am right now with the Morrigan. She has always been there. As I have, I even had, a Catholic priest. I told him about me having interest in Wicca and pagan, and talking to him about the goddess and how the male and the female were equal. The woman, and Mary was, how important she was, and because he absolutely loved and adored Mary, the artwork and everything. He was Polish, and just some of the beautiful artworks that he had. And so even he was understanding. He just told me to be careful, but he goes, follow where, God leads you, you know. And so um I have certain things packed away, but I do have my Mary necklace that I keep by me. I wanted to wear it today in honor of her. As you can see, I have my statue behind me. She's going to have to stay here, but I do live near the Fatima Shrine in Lewiston, New York, and I'm going to take her there just before we leave and ask them if they could find her a beautiful home on their property somewhere, so she could be with the rest of the because I know if I leave her here, somebody here is just going to destroy her. They're going to break her,
Oh,
damage her.
she's
They're just going to.
beautiful. She's
You know,
beautiful.
she looks a lot different than when I first got her. When I did get her, I got her when I was working at Crystal Magic in Arizona, and she was actually painted. Her robe was blue and purple with stars and everything. And
Mm.
but when we moved here, I wanted her outside. You know, I wanted her to be out there to protect our trailer, know where we were living at. So I have Father Dick's rosaries. I've had a couple that I've bought, and I do have packed away a beautiful small, simple carved piece of I think it's called chicory or hickory wood, which is comes straight from Bethlehem. It's a native tree, and someone
Hmm.
carved, you know, a beautiful little simple Mary, you know, shape inside a little grotto, and so she's packed away. So yeah, books that I can recommend. Oh, let me just back up a little bit. Um, because I have so much. I mean, there's so much I could share, but just not enough time. And I would like to at some point maybe do a separate show on different ways of honoring the goddess. And I would like to kind of look at the rosary on a separate, because there is a book that I have called The Way of the Rose. It's by Clark Strand and Perdita Finn. Um, and it's just amazing. They talk about how, you know, the rose, you know, the Catholic rosary, but at the same time they show from a pagan point of view too, or other view religions, of how things similar to the rosary before the oncoming of Christianity, how it's always been a tool of prayer, how it's been used as a tool of, you know, as used as a weapon as well. So that I think would be a very interesting conversation for another show. Um, but let me just say
You know,
hello.
I have something to add here.
Sure.
Um, I think I've talked to you about this, Heather, but um, I, I was raised United Methodist. I wasn't raised Catholic at all, and there used to be a Bible bookstore here in town, and I would go in there and look for cards and different things. And they had these little cards like protection cards for Archangel Michael,
Hmm.
and you know. But
Yeah.
when I was in there one time, I saw a rosary, and you know, of course, I know nothing about rosaries, but I saw this rosary, and I was just so taken with it. And it was kind of expensive, and I thought, I don't need to buy a rosary, you know. And I was talking to a friend of mine who was Catholic, and on my birthday she shows up with this um, little package, and it
Ooh.
says Rosario de Petalos de Rosas. And what is so interesting about this is I felt a closeness to this particular rosary, and it is made out of crushed rose petals at a
Yes.
Carmelite convent in Spain.
I want one of those.
And this is it. It smells like roses. And when I was doing some automatic writing one time, I was in this um, Carmelite monastery um, in Spain, right on the coast of Spain. And you know, I just wrote flashes of what I did there, and I think it is amazing that, because when I did that automatic writing, I thought, well, wait a minute, there's that rosary. Let me look and see about the rosary. And then it talks about in the solitude and the silence of the Carmelite convents, the beads of this rose petal rosary have been linked together with filial love, um, The rose petal rosaries are a chapter more in this long and glorious history of the monastic craft. This is the best souvenir of your pilgrimage, of your visit to this land and this sanctuaries in love with Mary. This is an unforgettable souvenir for you, a fine and everlasting present for your people. And then it's in Spanish on the back of it. And I just thought the synchronicities of that were absolutely amazing, because I've had this rosary for 20 years. And the automatic writing was, let me see when it was. 3/5/24. So
March.
yeah.
Before I continue, Ange had mentioned earlier, and I wanted to share the Mysteries of Mary Tarot is one of my favorites. Is an indie deck which I did not know existed. Ange,
I did not either.
So if you wouldn't mind, others may be interested. If you could put that in the chat and maybe send it to me later through WhatsApp, that would be awesome.
Me too. I just want to see it. I'm not going to buy it. I've sworn off buying
Yeah,
it.
no more decks for Nancy, right?
No more decks for Nancy.
And then Ange was
has enough.
I was taught by nuns. I also had the privilege of working in a convent to help the sisters with medical care. Mother Mary is a huge part of their lives. And then I love what Chris wrote. Can you birth God without being one? She must have been powerful, regardless of deity status. So, yes. And I have mentioned on a previous show, I know that not a few people quite resonated with the idea, but Marguerite Riglioso is another PhD, and she has been studying certain gospels, especially the ones that get left out or you don't hear about from the traditional Bible, and has studied the fact that possibly the idea of these, like with Isis, with this ability to have this conception, this immaculate conception, that it is believed, not just by her, but some, that women back in ancient times, because of before the onset of these patriarchal religions, um, women were able to, had learned how to, um, through prayer, fasting, meditation, use the work of breath and kundalini energy, be able to instill within themselves a splitting of egg cells, and were able to, some of them were able to conceive of a child without the requirement of a man, of sperm. And this is not to belittle or to lower the importance of men. That's not why I'm mentioning this, but that there was this belief that some women could do that. And there have been a few accounts here and there. I know I've heard growing up that some women have been able to do this. And so is this is a belief that this is a possibility, that she was part of one of these mystery schools where the women as priestesses in these temples were able to do the conception in that way. And this is not me proselytizing it. It was just an idea that has been put out there. And I do have a book at some point where I will, read up on it, and that I have of Marguerite's, and see, how I feel about it and how I resonate with it. Another book, like I was sharing a little bit earlier, The Way of the Rose by Clark Strand and Perdita Finn. A lot of interesting history. Something I wanted to share that they shared in here, though, that they wrote. So there are certain sections in the back of the book where I guess these are, from my understanding, these are channel messages that they've written from Mary, or through let's just say meditative messages. And one of them is titled Dirt to Dirt. And it says, people say that, and this is supposed to be Mary speaking through this, people say that the world is dying. But I tell you, that she is pregnant and near to giving birth. So little of what you see and understand about your world is true. You hold the broad outlines of a coming collapse, but you cannot foresee the disappearance of the world that you have made. Your world is not my world, but my world is yours. And if you will let me, I will lead you there again. All of your fears, all of your worries, all of your anxious preoccupations, these have a single root cause. The world you have made cannot endure,
Hmm.
and you cannot foresee the world to come. And so it goes on a little bit more. It's like another page or so. But I wanted to share because that just like jumped right at me. I asked, well, I was flipping through,
Wow.
where do I stop? What can I share with everybody today? And it stopped on that. So that was something I wanted to share. And I just see there was another comment. So let me come up here a little bit.
And Sid has joined us.
I saw that. Hi, Sid. And I know that I see you, Elizabeth, but I think I saw, and Audra has also joined us. I just thought I saw Maruta
Yes, Maruta
made a
said
comment.
yes.
Let's see. Oh, so she was after. So Elizabeth said,
Yeah.
I never thought about the importance of having a spiritual mother as a Catholic. As I got older, I saw the criticism from other religious groups on Catholics' connection to Mother Mary and to saints. So that's one thing I can say that I'm proud of with Catholicism, is that they did hold Mary in such high regards, whereas other Christian religions kind of demeaned her. They had her even lower than the Catholics did. So at
Mhm.
least, um, at that I step back. Now I like to get closer to her, and I think part of it too is that, you know, we're we're raised to see her as being subservient, as being humble, as being meek, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's been harder for her to be accepted into more of the pagan community, the goddess
Mhm.
community, unlike Mary Magdalene. Because with Mary Magdalene, you get to express and explore sensuality and sexuality and the power of the red. Whereas Mary, nope, she was the subservient, she was the meek. And I'm like, no, like you said before in the beginning, Nancy, when she was pregnant with Jesus or Yahshua, it was a violent time. Her and Joseph could have been murdered and her child at any time.
Oh,
That talk about
she was
courage and
very strong.
bravery. She
I
was
mean,
very
if
strong.
you look at it from the religious aspect of knowing
Hmm.
her whole life, that he was hers, but not really,
Hmm.
you know, and to face that, I was telling Heather earlier that I had a friend who was quite a bit older than me, and her son was shot down over. Uh, I think he was in Thailand during the Vietnam War and was killed. And Toby was Catholic, or no, I don't think she was Catholic, but she fostered a relationship with Mother Mary because Mary had, her son had died. And she was able to comfort Toby in a way that nobody else could because she understood. And it really helped Toby get over a really horrible life event.
Hmm.
And I mean, she felt her presence every day and loved her deeply.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah.
Yeah, with Mother Mary, with a lot of these goddess, people don't realize, like with angels and with guides and with saints, they don't. That's man made. That's engineered to. They don't belong to a certain religious group or spiritual circle. A lot of these beings are there. We put those limitations or those boundaries or those dictates upon
Mhm.
others with them, and they're there, for whenever we need to learn, whenever we ask for help. And it's again, like when people come, for readings, we can pull cards, we can give them the insight, the messages of what could be done right now, because we all have what? Free will. And so
Mm-hmm.
we can't expect just because a card says that this is going to happen and sit back and not let it happen. Same thing
Mm-hmm.
with working with our divine. We need to ask, okay, I'm ready to learn. I need a sign. I need assistance. How can you help me? And then be willing to work
Mm-hmm.
along with them. So, and I saw Maruda's comment, but the
Uh-huh.
child would be female. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting too when I read her book and see what her argument might be. But Mary was also written by men who actually dehumanized, um, when they said she was born without. So yeah, and people don't realize the term virgin did not mean an intact hymen. It did not mean necessarily a woman that had not had intercourse. Virgin back in the day, in the earlier civilizations, represented really a woman who was unto herself, who was independent, did not need to rely on or was not owned by a husband or anything. She basically she lived in her own power, independence, and so that term got turned into
Mm-hmm.
what it has been turned into, over the centuries because of the patriarchal religions. And another really quick, interesting thing I found was that in Islam, in the Quran, Mary is the most highly esteemed female deity in their book.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And so not only is she in, the Christian, but she is part of Islam as well, as long with Jesus. They say you hear more about those two in their Quran than you do
Mm-hmm.
of Allah. And that's not me putting down anyone who is Islam, um, or who follows Muhammad. It's just those who do practice know that by reading the Quran, then they know that this to be true. So it meant a person not belonging to anyone else. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And no one group of people can have ownership over an idea or a guide. Exactly, Chris.
Well, and two, I think when you work with a goddess, any goddess, and you truly connect with them and you feel their presence, you feel how real they are,
Hmm.
that it's not just words on a page,
Yeah.
you know. And that's I guess you could say the magic of um, choosing a goddess to work with and getting close to them.
The magic, the sense of empowerment, the
Mm-hmm.
sense of I'm trying to think what word could be more powerful or more strong than empowerment. You know, self. They help you self realize. It's it is an empowering. It really is. It helps women take back power that they thought they didn't have or they felt might have been taken away from them. And a lot of the goddess movement eventually became a little bit more to the one side because of a lot of women who had suffered at the hands of cruelty through Christian families, the household,
Mm-hmm.
or at the hands of being assaulted, or molested, by men, that the only place that they felt safe was with, ideally, with a goddess. So that's why you have a lot of like lesbian groups that really embrace the divine feminine. You have a lot of male, gay men, who honor and really worship and love the goddess because they're in contact with their divine feminine very strongly within
Mm-hmm.
themselves as well. And so, but yeah, let me just make sure that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had to step away for a bit. The miss. Oh, so there's the link for anybody. And she also
And
has
I,
Mysteries
I
of the
checked
Black
out the link
Madonna.
and they are expensive.
Okay, but I still want to take a look at them.
Oh, of
And
course, of course.
ooh, and
My
her new one
goodness.
is Mysteries of the Red Madonna. So that might be maybe based on Mary Magdalen, possibly. But I would really love to have people start looking at Mary with a little bit more, when I say respect, as in terms of her, I mean, most people raise Catholics, especially the Italian women and stuff. Like the book was mentioning, they would keep rosaries wrapped around their wrists so that while they're cooking or taking care of home, whenever they could have a moment, they would have the beads where they can talk to her, they could pray to her.
Mhm.
And there was one woman that I knew at Rising Goddess before I left, and she does folk magic, and she actually wears what one of the things that she was taught to do when helping with cleansing and doing any magical work was she would wrap a rosary around her wrists so that she had the power and the protection, the healing from the
Mhm.
rosaries from Mother Mary on her while doing cleansings and banishings and any type of
Mhm.
work. So reverence, I like that.
Mhm.
um yeah, and Janet says, oh, you read my mind, Ange, thanks for the link. Okay, so if you want a really interesting take on Mother Mary. I love this book. I really haven't picked it up in a while, but everybody knows who, possibly knows who Clarissa Pinkola Estes is, PhD.
Yes.
She is the woman that did Women Who Run with Wolves.
Mhm.
And so she did a book. She released a book. It was originally published in 2011. It was re-released in 2016, and that's when I learned about it. And it's called Untie the Strong Woman. So it's untying that, that make that what people have put on her, basically the shackles of, you know, patriarchal thought and stuff, the shackles that hold her, and to untie her and show
Mhm.
how strong she was, how powerful she was, especially in all different cultures and different communities. And again, this is, there's just so much I can't possibly go through. But there were a couple that I wanted to share. I just, again, open up to what page that is most important for today. And I did open to one, and it's chapter 7. um, and there's a beautiful piece of artwork right there. It's the heart, the sacred heart with the 7 swords. And here, it says here, it is said by the old women of the family that the hilts of the swords piercing Our Lady's heart are shaped like the curling sepals which protect the buds of roses, that with prayer and time each sword hilt will burst into 7 fragrant roses, blooming again and again, because suffering brings the rain of tears, because the rain of tears waters the earth, because moisture on dry earth of our being is guaranteed to bring forth new life. Tears are a river that take you somewhere, somewhere better, somewhere good. And what I want to, just one little chapter 7, just one page, and it says the uses of brokenheartedness. Mater de Rosa ever bends near. It's called the use of the 7 swords through the heart. And if you think about it, the 7 of swords in tarot is what? About betrayal, of
Mhm.
deceit, of having to, walking away, the hollow victory, walking away, being hurt. And so I find that very interesting how that's also with the 7 swords of the heart for here.
Mm.
And it says here, the swords through your heart are not the ones which caused your wounds, but rather these mighty swords of strength we earned were earned by your struggles through hard times. Sword of surrender to withstand this time of learning. Sword of veils to pierce the hidden meanings of this time. Sword of healing to lance one's own agony, bitterness. Sword of new life to cut through, cut loose, plant anew. Sword of courage to speak up, row on, touch others. Sword of life force to draw from, lean on, purify. Sword of love, often heaviest to lift consistently, turns one away from war to instead falls into the arms of immaculate strength. O immaculate heart of my mother, give me shelter in the beautiful chambers of your heart. Keep me strong, fierce, loving, and able in this world. Remind me daily that despite my imperfections, my heart remains completely unruined.
Mm.
So motivate. So, yeah, I love that. And in the Obsidian Veil, Vixen did include Mother Mary as Virgin Mary in his deck as well. So again, we're reflecting to the heart. Um, he for the title for his card for her is Sacred Grace, and what he wrote on her card is, "My divine light shines to guide all towards love, forgiveness, and eternal hope." Um, I know I've been saying a lot, but it says here she surrendered and devoted the rest of her life to a higher purpose, leaving her agency in the hands of others. And despite the challenges and social implications, Mary accepted her role as a mother. A story of devotion, strength, and surrender to a higher purpose, she is considered a model of compassion, maternal love, and spiritual grace. The Virgin Mary reminds you to trust in the higher power and to surrender to the divine guidance that is available. You are supported and protected on your spiritual journey. So, as long as you do not lose yourself to others and dim your own light for that of theirs, you may be experiencing a period of divine intervention or spiritual awakening. Miracles and blessings are unfolding in your life. Open your heart and trust in the path that is unfolding before you, even if it may be challenging or uncertain. Find solace in the knowledge that you are held and supported by the divine presence. And that's what he wrote for Mother Mary.
Mm.
And with that, I am done sharing. And let's see, we've had a comment. So, Reverence and Janet Lee says, I appreciate this conversation and things to ponder on very much. I hung a wooden plaque of Mary and Child
Mm.
and a rosary in my space a few months ago to acknowledge. Long story short, very nice, beautiful. Just wondering if you've read The Red Tent. I have not. Um, for me, I will be very transparent here when it comes to Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene. I have felt, oh, what's the word? Resentment. I'll just be open and honest because I just feel that there is much more um, respect and reverence given to Mary Magdalene within our spiritual communities. Not necessarily, I mean, ours here, but in general, in like the goddess, in the metaphysical, in the spiritual, outside of religion, just because they see her better as a better role model or a role model goddess than Mother Mary because of her connection to, blood mysteries and sexuality and sensuality and that type of power. So I have
I don't
always
feel
felt
that.
a bit of
I don't feel that way at all. I mean,
I'm working through it.
Yeah. Oh, and Maruda, I have that book. I just haven't read it yet. I guess I need to get busy, huh?
And I think too maybe a part of it is that I was very unhappy with the Catholic Church and the lack of and my connection with Jesus and all that had just absolutely everything just slipped away. And
Mm-hmm.
but yet Mother Mary has always been, that anchor still. When I felt like I've lost the presence of the others, I've always felt hers there.
So
And so
your resentment is not towards her; it's towards Mary Magdalene.
that's why I'm saying that
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I know it may a lot of people be like, well, that's not fair, but just for me is
Well, yeah,
that
I mean, I guess I can understand that. I mean, I just think about, how they have been presented over the years,
Mhm.
and a lot of that isn't really them.
Oh,
It's just the people spinning the tale or whatever.
the red tent
But,
just describes how the male priest took away female's power. Okay,
mhm,
thank you, Maruta. So yeah, it's not like I'm
yeah.
here, hate mongering on, Mary Magdalene. It's just for
You
me,
bet not.
it's just that there has always been that sense of resentment, just because it always seems like she's gotten more respect within the spiritual outside of religious community than Mother Mary, because of her being seen as being more powerful or being more this, and it's just like, but at the same time, but Mother Mary was that just as an equal to her as that, maybe if not more, so for
I
me,
don't know,
again, I'm
I
just being
just
authentic and
just off
transparent.
the top of my head, I would say that Mother Mary is more powerful. What do they say? She's the Queen of Heaven?
Hmm.
Oh,
In the
yeah.
church, in the Catholic Church, yes. But when I noticed that, when I start going over to leaving the Christian faith behind and going into, you
Hmm.
know, pagan and goddess worship and everything, Mary Magdalene was more like, oh, yes, yes, yes. Whereas Mother Mary, oh no, she's weak. She's weak and meek and humble. You don't want that as a goddess, or energy to look up to. You want someone more like Mary Magdalene, who, was put through all this, and she was accused of this, and she struck, and I'm just like, oh, so
Yeah.
yeah. Bye, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Yeah. And
Thank you
says
for being.
Sacred Heart. Yeah.
Mhm. So it's a Heather thing, but like I said, I'm just being open and transparent, and
Yes.
who knows, maybe a few years from now or so. I mean, I you
Well,
know
I think we're drawn, I mean, like you're drawn to the Morgan kicking and screaming on every step of the way. But I mean, I think there's times in our lives when we're called to certain goddesses. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that doesn't mean, that we, it's like Kristen Louise is changing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that happens sometimes, that we can be drawn to a goddess or a god, and
Especially if they're misunderstood. Yeah.
yeah, and then we learn about them and travel with them for a while, and um
Hmm. This is
but then I think
interesting.
some people are oh, what's that?
No, go ahead and finish.
No, I just think it's all fascinating,
Hmm.
let's see.
And Sid said here, but the queen in the patriarchal world only has power to produce the next heir and is subservient. So I can see why people wouldn't think Mother Mary is more or less.
Hmm.
Very interesting, Sid. I like
Yeah.
having different people sharing different
Oh
perspectives.
yeah, I love that,
Hmm.
but I
Exactly.
mean, we all, and two, I mean, it's like, um well, one of the things I say to my children is, we all have different perspectives, because of the way, we're a product of our life, the life that we've lived. And I have three children. They're all very different, but they were raised in the same home by the same parents. But their experiences of that are completely different because, um, they see it through their own eyes. Not, they am I making sense? Does this
Hmm.
um and it's very true, um but
I'm just
ooh,
going ahead and typing in a question for people with like
okay.
cards pull. It just came to me. Nancy, because of our conversation. I still have, it's 5:50. I can still do another half hour. Um, Make sure your energy is good
Oh
for
yeah,
2
I'm
readings.
I'm good. I have enjoyed everybody participating.
Because this is the holiday season, and this
Mhm.
is the time of when, especially with Yule tide coming, and that's why the Christian, religion chose Christmas. I mean, this time of year for Christmas because it's the rebirth of the sun, and so for Mother Mary, we can ask her, how can we rebirth our own inner light this season? So if anybody would like us to pull cards for a message from Mother Mary regarding this question, please type me
Me,
in
me,
all
me,
caps.
me.
Madame Maru, I might have. I've seen some, and some of the artwork makes me kind of go, but it's something that I think I need to get over because I really need to. There's been more than enough signs over the years recently for me to. And Sid, I am going to get you first right now because the last time I accidentally kicked you out, timed you out, and by the time we were able to get to you, we were going to get to your reading, we had to end. There was no time for your reading, so I'm going to make sure we get to you right now.
How can we
um,
rebirth our own
Inner light
inner
this
light?
season. Does that sound good to you, Nancy?
Sounds good to me.
And she goes, I totally forgot about that. Well, and Janice says, I love hearing and reading the perspectives. Totally. Yep. Just because something's written in a book, especially if it was written by men, you know, it's, and there are women too who will want to keep the same narrative as well. So, you really have to kind of feel what is right. Um, and Chris says, great conversation today. Quite enjoyable and insightful to hear another person's walk with organized religion and the subsequent spiritual paths. Well, thank you, Chris.
I mean, whether we've stepped away from, everything that we believed when we were younger, it's still a part of us, you know.
And Sid, you're right. The victors always write a history that paints themselves in a good light and promotes their narrative. There you go.
Okay, this is for Sid.
Mm-hmm.
How can we rebirth our own inner light this season? Okay. Are you ready, Sid? I have 3 cards for you. One of them is, I have 3 decks. Excuse me. One of them is the Mother Mary Oracle, the smaller version. And then I have the Goddess Dream Oracle and the Goddess Love Oracle. And that's what I'm going to be using today. So the first message that came out for you, Sid, is from the Mother Mary Oracle, and it is Our Lady of Divine Direction. And you think about how this will help you rebirth your own inner light this season. The quickest way to a destination is not always the most obvious or direct route. Obstacles can help build trust, determination, self-belief, and courage. However, when those qualities are sufficiently developed within one's heart, it is more efficient and joyful to make swifter progress on the path, sidestepping obstructions altogether. Let go of how you think things need to happen. Place your trust in Our Lady's direction. One way that you can do this is through intuition and your inner wisdom. You have a lot of really important spiritual stuff within you, and you need to go within and kind of mine it like you're mining gemstones. Um, these lessons that you have that will help you with your intuition. You have, you have the knowledge of your guides and your angels, but also your ancestors. And there is a lot of wisdom that comes from our ancestors. Um, and then finally, the last card for you, Sid, is safety. You are held. And never, never, ever feel like you're alone, because you're not. You may feel lonely sometimes, but I guess that's okay. But you need to realize that you have a team surrounding you, um, ready to help you spiritually every step of the way. And that's what I have for you.
Wow. One of my cards, Nancy,
Uh huh.
for my Rose Oracle, the card is called Held.
Ah.
So we'll get to that in a second, Sid. So from the Mother Mary Oracle, I pulled Our Lady of the Sacred Hearth. And that's the very first card of the deck. And so this card is talking about um, home life, our path. It says here, I was trying to figure out what to pull out of this, Sid, but because these are messages from Mother Mary, I'm just going to read what Alana um, wrote down through meditation that she had to say for this card. And it says, "You are my child. I am your mother. Your home, through my grace, is always secure. You are never to fear being lost and abandoned. Your home is provided through my grace. You always have a home to return to through my grace. Surrender attachment and fear now, my cherished one. There is no need for it. Do you think that I would forget what you truly need? That I would deny you this? You who have belonged to me through all time and are my child under my care and protection. Let go of all such worries now and pray to me. I will assist you." And so this is about, you know, keeping faith, staying strong. Sometimes change and transition is hard. And what Stan just jumped right out at me says, perhaps we fear that we will fall back into old patterns, becoming smaller, and rather than trusting our innate ability to be able to support ourselves and to be able to meet the challenge, stepping up to the challenge. So I think that was a beautiful message from that card. And from my the Rose Oracle, I got Held for you, and it says here, sureness of the soil, unseen help, support, and community. So how can we rebirth our own inner light? Just calling on her, if you are drawn to, if you are, or you feel spiritually drawn to, trying to let go of those old patterns, know that you are safe, that you are protected, um, that you are held. So I think when we have that sense of knowing that we are supported and held by our our higher power, those that are our friends and family in our community, um, that helps us. And it's such a beautiful card of just like being held in this beautiful like blossom. They're hands, but they are also blossoms. And you have this beautiful grandmother spirit looking over her. So we have our ancestors, we have, our higher power, our guides, we have our family, we have our community. And your two tarot cards are Nine of Cups, and it came out reversed. I got two cards I don't do reverse, but they came out reversed, so I'm going to read them. So the Nine of Cups is traditionally about feeling happiness, emotional success, and enjoyment, and just that feeling of just absolute joy and happiness. But it came up in reverse. So we're struggling to maybe feel that right now, Sid. And the next card, the overall energy, also came out as reverse. And interestingly, because we're talking about religion, I got the Hierophant. And the fire Hierophant has to do with spiritual traditions, knowledge, institutions. And so I don't know if this may be a reflection of um, those in your family or in your immediate circle or community feel that their beliefs, maybe this season, or their way of thinking or their spiritual practices, feel like they're trying to maybe force their basically their dogma or their spiritual belief on you, as maybe detracting from your happiness or your joy. But don't let it, whatever it is that has to do with spiritual tradition or belief, just let that go. Um, Embrace and know that you are held by those who do understand you, who do accept you for who you are and what you believe in. And no matter what, I mean, Mother Mary, just like anybody else, doesn't belong to any religion. She's a mother goddess. And if you're drawn to call upon her, she is there for you. So that's what I have for you, my dear.
That's beautiful, Heather.
Thank you. Do we get any other requests? Let's see. I don't think we did. Let me get myself down.
Hi, Kristen.
And I do that. Hello, Kristen Louise. Did you hear us talking about you? All good things, my dear. Just talking about different goddesses and how, you know, they are represented and written in through another narrative, and how sometimes we have to change our path. And we were mentioning how you're changing yours with Lilith. A lot of times when certain goddesses or, you know, divine feminine are misunderstood, like Mother Mary can be. So Nancy and would be happy to pull some cards for anybody. And the question is, you know, how can we rebirth our own inner light this season? If anybody would like us to pull cards on that. Of course, we're asking Mother Mary for her guidance on these. And Ange says she would like one. Okay, Ange.
All right.
Oh, and Kristen Louise wants one too. All righty. And thank you, everybody, for being here. For those who had to leave, thank you for dropping by, and those watching on replay, thank you as well.
Ange, I have 3 cards for you. How can we rebirth our own inner light this season? The first card, Mother Mary, is Our Lady of Truth. You may hide the truth of what you feel for fear that what might come of your honesty. Yet the heart needs truth like the lungs need air. Truth heals. It can create intimacy. It can set you and another free, allowing you to let go. Your heart truths are a source of empowering guidance and worth the time and effort to know what is true for you now. Now, the second card that came out is the card of hope, and it's out of darkness comes light. And I love this because I think, you know, from time to time, we all experience darkness, a form of darkness. And it's hard when a darkness visits us. And it is something that we have to work through. When I look at this card, this woman is supported. There's a hair and the stars and the crescent moon and all the flowers. And to me, it's like she is finding light and healing from nature. And I love that for you. The final card that came out for you is the card of new beginnings. Take a fresh look at life. And she's holding an egg. And look at the hairs. They look like they're playing patty cake.
Patty cake, patty cake. I love that.
Yeah. But I love the hair in these decks because there's just so much beauty and even in the darkness um, card here. Uh, there is such beauty if we just look for it, you know. And I love these cards for you, Ange. And I think oh look, there's even a bird up here. Let's see, there's two birds in the hope. Out of darkness comes light. Um, are those swallows?
I think
What kind
so.
of? Yeah,
I know
yeah,
the swallows have that little curve,
yeah,
to
yeah,
their wings,
yeah.
to
I
their
love those for
wingspan.
you, Ange.
And she says, "Wow, what a spot on reading, Nancy. Thank you so much, my beautiful friend. I
Oh,
appreciate you."
thank you, Ange.
All right. And Chris, have a blessed day. You're getting on the road. So thank you for dropping in. Be safe, and we will see you next time. So Ange, I got Our Lady of the Rose Crown. And
Mm.
this is one of my favorites. I love all the rainbow like colors in this. And of course I love roses. And I love my spirals. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, one of my favorite cards. So Our Lady of the Rose Crown. And when I was opening up the pages, this jumped right out at me. And it says here, Our Lady of the Rose Crown comes to tell you that you have been in preparation. And now the time is fast approaching or is already upon you, whereby you are opening to more divine realization. There is a sacred and precious gift and is happening in perfect accordance with your own spiritual growth. She asks that you drop preconceived expectations of how this will manifest and simply be present to what is happening within you and your life now. And that's where I'm going to stop. I feel drawn to stop reading. So that is her message right there. And I can see that because I'm just going to go jump really quick to the tarot. Then I'll give you your Rose Oracle because it says that you're in the process of expanding, realizing a spiritual change, your preparation of, or it's already here. And I did get the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands shows that you have taken the preparation and the streets, the planning, and now you are bringing it into fruition. This is the card of of expansion, of things being manifest, the ships coming in, so to speak. So I absolutely love that. And the underlying energy, Ange, is the Page of Wands. And it's not a swallow, but you have another beautiful bird, and and it's got like a little message too in its beak. And the Page of Wands is that youthful inner child energy where you're looking at the potential, the creative potential. Certain passions are starting to come alight, and you have that motivation. You're getting fired up, and you're getting excited. It's like, again, that inner child energy coming out. And I absolutely love those two cards. And then the Rose Oracle, you got the Healing the Mother line.
Mm.
And it's about healing, ancestral work, and growing up.
Mm.
So this is a time that, especially for how can we rebirth our own inner light, and this could very well help with us healing our mother line, sending love to the women in our family that came before us, and hoping that by sending them love and understanding in so many ways, decisions that may have been made, that were not necessarily maybe for our highest good or for our other ancestors' highest good, that maybe we can help heal some of that and help maybe redirect the cycles of future generations. And I love that. And that's what, I have for you, Ange.
Mm.
And I love how it just comes like right down. It's like little water droplets, but little sparkles as well. And it's kind of like coming down, and it's going through and grounding you. So getting centered and grounded in the earth. Again, representing the ancestral line. And yeah, whether by lighting candles, offering prayers or just sending out healing energy to our ancestors. Even if we don't know them, we look at a family tree and see names and maybe just send light and love to those names in hopes of, maybe that helps them heal on the other side and may hopefully redirect. I know some people don't understand how that might work. They're already possibly in spirit. They could be in a new life. How can what we do now help, something that's already happened in the past? And I think that because I think time isn't, or what they say, time isn't linear. It's more, cyclical. That maybe some of that residual energy that gets left behind might be healed more, where it might help, you know, and up like a ripple effect. And maybe those in our own families right now, or in our own circles, or in our own communities, that energy that we help send to them might ripple out and maybe help soften and help heal people now, and maybe help them be able to do enough healing where they might be able to offer again the newer generations a better world to come
Mhm.
in. So if that makes sense. I know sometimes I ramble. I'm looking for the right words to say. Um, so Ange says, okay, present, got it. Wands energy. Yep, love it. I feel this in my soul. Ooh, the soul, the wands. Let your soul glow. Remember back in the 80s, the hair gel? Let your soul glow. And Ange says, oh dear, yes, healing the mother line. That's a big one. You being a mama, and it sounds like you're doing an amazing job with those boys.
Mhm.
So just keep doing what you're doing, girl. Thank you so much, Heather. I value and appreciate your insights. And the same when you give me readings too. And Anxious, lots to unpack and what you ladies have offered here. Thank you, thank you. Deep gratitude. You're welcome, Ange. We love you.
Yes, we do.
And we have
Kristen.
Kristen. And I'm sure you're all ready for Kristen.
I am, and I have three, I think, very powerful cards for you, Kristen. The first one is the Mother Mary card, and it is Our Lady of Comfort. Even though you may not see me, I am holding your hand. Even though you may not hear me, I am speaking through your heart. I am never far away from you. I am by your side with love, guidance, and protection always. You are my own. I could not bear to be apart from you. Receive my message of comfort and peace now. All shall be well. Um, how can we rebirth our own inner light this season? The first card that came out for you is Wildness and Freedom. Let go and be. You are on a path that you have to follow. I mean, you're compelled to follow it. And I just love, you're out in the woods, you're holding it looks like a fawn. Um, and you have the antler headdress on, beautiful tattoos on your arms.
Ellen of Trod.
And
Ellen of
yes,
Trod.
but just look at the peace and contentment on her face, because she's letting go and she's being free. She's doing what she is led to do, and that's important for you. The final card is the card of abundance. Count your blessings. Um, you know, we all have so much to be thankful for. And as all of this is unfolding, remember to have a heart uh, full of gratitude for the abundance that is bestowed upon you. And count your blessings. Flowers and butterflies, and here's this precious animal. I'm not sure what it is, um, but I love the wildness and freedom for you. That is your card, Kristen, and I'm really happy with this reading for you. That's what I have.
Okay. Whew. So, Kristen, thank you, Nancy. She says, wildness and freedom. That's a powerful message. And yes, I always need to refocus my attention toward gratitude when life gets challenging. And love those cards. Thank you, Nancy. And so, Kristen, I'm going to start with your tarot instead because we've got a lot of fiery, passionate new beginnings going on here. And I love that we have a cups card and a wands card. We got some fire and water, which creates steam, which gives us energy and motivation. And so your tarot card is the Knight of Cups. And I was drawn to go grab a book off my shelf and I grabbed my Robin Wood tarot, even though this is not a Robin Wood, but something jumped off at me with this. And this is very evident when you were doing your interview with Bobby. Um, and this is what was one of the things I just absolutely loved about your interview was that even though you were nervous, you were able to be who you are. You were able to, even though you were nervous, you showed your resiliency and your authenticity about standing in your truth, speaking your truth about who you are, and not being ashamed of who you were or having. Not that there was anything to be ashamed, but some of how a lot of us live there's always a possibility of judgment because we can't always be everything to everybody all the time. So you just really stood in your power and you spoke your truth. I try hard to be authentic, and that's what's beautiful about you. And
Yeah.
so with the Knight of Cups with Robin Wood's tarot, and I love is that the seeker shows that they wear their heart on their sleeve, and that really is was you when you were doing that interview. You show that when you talk into chat, when you share, and the readings that you have given recently. Um, there's that Knight of Cups. It's like you are coming to be your own, because they say the Knight of Cups is kind of like the romantic, the knight in shining armor, kind of like chivalrous romantic one. But in the end, Kristen, you are the one that rescued yourself. Yes, you have the love of others. Your mom's there in spirit looking over you. You have your connection to your gods, your goddesses, and your spirituality, but your knight in shining armor, that was you. Starting to show yourself unconditional love, being very opening up to your intuition, your creativity, being who you are, showing who you truly are, showing your emotions on your sleeve, and your overall energy is the Page of Wands too. You and Ange both got the Page of Wands. So this is that time now of moving forward. You're taking that wand, you're grabbing that wand. Well, and this one here's a tiny little wand by the bird's holding. But with the white winged dove too, I think of the song, by Stevie Nicks. Think of Edge of 17. We are on the edge of, you know, um, the white winged dove. This sings. You listen to its song. It calls to you. Um, it's the song, and I am going to go by with the song because the song that she had written for this was when she lost. There were people that were dying in her life. I believe it was an uncle that she had lost, or grandfather. John Lennon had been murdered as well, and so the song "Edge of 17" was about her dealing with the grief of losing people in their life, and you are still going through your grief too, losing your mom. But now you're taking that, and like with the song, you are taking that creativity, that pain, and you're turning it into something creative, powerful, passionate, and you're moving forward with it. Um, and your Mother Mary card. I'm not. Don't think I'm even going to open the book because it says it right here. The question is, how can we rebirth our inner light? Um, well, you've already started by being authentic, doing more on your channel, doing more with us fellow readers. You're doing what is your passion, what's drawing you. And you got the Lady of the Ocean of Rebirth. And so the Cups card, water, ocean, rebirth, tapping into the watery womb of the goddess within yourself, your own intuition, and trusting in that again, nurturing and taking care of your inner child as well. The page, again, the inner child as well, being playful, exploring what is your passion. And your last card, my dear, is from the Rose Oracle. You got the open card. And it says here, say yes, expand through the extremes, and trust in life. And so again, it almost looks like a bird with wings, white bird with wings coming down to, like, the Holy Spirit, that divine, the Shekinah, the divine feminine coming down. And I was told to open the book, and it says here, this is probably one of the biggest challenges of life, keeping your heart open through the extremes. No one is immune to the highs and lows of the human experience, from the ecstasy to the agony, the joy to the grief, the love to the loss. We can't bypass the difficult parts of being human if we want to truly experience the bliss. And if you close your heart off to the grief, you won't be able to fully experience the joy. And so it says here, the rose teaches us this season after season, where it dies and then it reblooms, and it dies and reblooms. So I think those are just really beautiful cards and messages, Kristen. So thank you for letting me read for you. Thank you for letting me read for you, Ange and Sid. Let's see, the watery womb of the goddess. Beautiful. Yes. Open is one of my words of the year. Really open and engage. There you go. Love it. So let's bring us back here. And she says, thank you both.
I
You're
haven't
welcome.
decided on my word for 2025. We Heather and I were talking about it before we came on.
For me, I think it's going to be a rebirth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of the relocation and the starting over and the new place and new energy, meeting new people. I just got to overcome the fear. That's all. And the anxiety. And have faith. But I love the word rebirth. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned. When Nancy has her word, she'll be able to share. So you got to make sure, for anybody who watches on playback,
I was just thinking, because I was really confused about it, and it just came up. Can you guess what it is?
Well, we've had some.
My words for, let me see, where is my word?
Thank you, Kristen. So are you.
For 2023 was embrace, and for 2024 was release. Okay. And I think for 2025 it is immerse.
Ooh, immerse.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So I know you've been a busy lady the last couple of days, having 2 shows yesterday. Do you have anything else coming up this week?
Not really. Not that I know of. And that is because I am making cookies. And I'm going to make some, I think I'm going to make some goulash for tomorrow.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
We haven't had goulash in a while.
But David and I, we get in cookie mode, and we're going to make gingerbread men and women, and we're going to make cut out sugar cookies, and the cookies that have like a little Hershey kiss on it, in the center. Yeah, we like to make pretty cookies. So
yeah, I like macaroons, chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, I love macaroons. I have never made coconut macaroons. I have coconut. I have eggs, so for the egg whites. And I have some chocolate that I could like drizzle over them or dip half of them in. I just haven't taken the bull by the horns. Let's see. I am currently working with the word uncertainty. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Lots of different things to be journaling about,
Yeah, yeah.
And Kristen says, I love me some coconut macaroons. And you know what? Our local Walmart actually makes and sells really good chocolate dipped macaroons. I mean,
Mm,
those are to die for. So,
yeah.
um, this week I might do a pop up because I got some wonderful black discs for my cards, and I started working on one of them. I'm getting into the Christmas mode, so I have some reds and greens. I might add a little bit of gold in there. I got a little dragon that popped in there. So I just want to thank everybody who has donated to me recently, whether through Amazon. Janet, thank you for that gorgeous, beautiful book that I got yesterday. And something I forgot to mention backstage, Nancy, my friend Amanda and I are getting together to celebrate Yuletide this Friday before my show with Allison. And she wants to do some sort of spell crafting. I might dedicate this book. It might be part of my magical um, journey, maybe with my cards or something. But I feel like, Janet, this came at the perfect time. So thank you again for that. I have gotten beautiful donations from Audra, from John, from Ellen R. Ellen, thank you if you watch this on replay. I need to get a special brush to start doing varnishing certain cards and preparing them for painting on. So your beautiful donation, no matter how small, I mean, I'm not singling out saying it was small, but that $5.55 donation that you gave me actually got me a new paintbrush. Thank you, John, Audra. You've been able to help me get beautiful new nice gouache to be able to paint with, and a couple of other brushes. So all my donations, I so appreciate. They're helping me build my cards, helping me work on building my future. And I he also helped put some food on my table. So thank you, everybody, again. And I saw, hey, Tim, I'm late, but I would love a read on this topic. Oh, sure, Tim, we
I
got time for
I've
you.
been shuffling for Tim. So
All righty. So let me give you over to.
Tim, did you see what the readings are? How can we rebirth our own inner light this season?
We're doing messages from Mother Mary.
Yeah.
So these are her
And so
guidance.
these are the cards that I got for you, Tim. The first one here, this is the Mother Mary, Our Lady of Quiet Blossoming. Before transformation bears fruit, you must labor with great trust. The seedling has profound courage. It gathers strength in the underground darkness before it is ready for astonishing feat of cracking open its shell, powerfully pushing down roots and reaching up to break through the soil and find the light.
Bye, Chris.
You have such courage, instinct, and power within. Trust in your process and in what you must be. And you know what I'm thinking about when this was talking about the seed is an acorn, um, and how from this small seed a mighty oak grows. And so I love that for you, Tim. That card. The second card is authenticity. Let your truth be heard. You know, one of the most important things that we can be is authentic, because it's like being the truth of who you are, not a shadow of somebody else, but being who you truly are, and allowing your light to go through. And you know, look at this person. There's a rainbow. There are these baby owls out in nature. There's this horse. I don't know. There's clouds here too. There's just a lot going on in this card. But it's the importance of authenticity. And the final card for you, Tim, is bravery. explore your inner wild places. And this is part of who you are. And you see the moon, there's always an unknown quantity. And there's wolves and bears, and look, there's a unicorn. This woman has a spear. She has moon earrings. I don't know if that's a reflection. To me, it looks like she has a tattoo on her cheek. And I love this for you because if you're authentic and you are brave, it's like you've got it all. You can go forward with courage, and it's like an affirmation that you're on the right path. And just find a little acorn and look at it every day and think about how strong you are. That's what I have for you.
I love that he says great confirmation, authenticity. And hello, Garnet. Thank you for joining us. So, Tim, for you, Our Lady of the Sacred Hearth came back up again. She was up here earlier. And she is about the home, the hearth. And so for you, I'm looking for what jumps out at me in the text here. And it says here, there are times on our path when we have outgrown our old safety nets. Like a hermit crab that outgrows the little shell and needs to search for a larger home, we must endure a transition that can feel frightening, giving rise to many insecurities. We may feel that our life becomes chaotic, unpredictable, and that makes having trust quite difficult. Yes. Perhaps we have fears arising for our survival, or perhaps we feel uncertainty and doubt about how things are going to unfold, even though we do mostly believe that everything will work out. But sometimes the fear gets to us and we kind of fall back into the old patterns of where we get into that stinking thinking, as my counselor Kathy loves saying. So trying to, when we start finding ourselves falling into that mental chatter, and remembering that no matter what your spiritual beliefs are, who your spiritual team is, that that Mother Mary, the Divine Feminine, what your higher power has you, and is embracing you. And it says here, emerging of a new life that is occurring now. From the Rose Oracle, I got Sophia. And I want to pull, because sometimes they give inquiries or affirmations. And Sophia is very similar to the Shekinah. The Sophia is kind of like also like the Holy Spirit. She is like a deep mother god. So Sophia is a Greek word meaning wisdom. So she's like the divine feminine wisdom. So Sophia is thought to have been a force present at the time of creation and is often presented as a woman. And the rose transmission for you for this card, because it's about divine plan, wisdom, intelligence within, and destiny. So there is a divine plan, Tim. You have the wisdom, you have the smarts. Um, you know that within yourself. You feel like you are being pulled towards this destiny. And it says here, I trust in the divine plan, activate the intelligence within my cells, and unlock and act on my most expansive destiny now. So, how can we rebirth our own inner light this season? By having trust that we are safe and secure within our homes, within ourselves, um, knowing that there is a divine plan, that we have control, that we have the wisdom, the intelligence to be able to stay on track and know when to have to change course if we need to. It's okay to feel the fear. You can feel the fear, but still do it anyways, especially when you know it's the right thing to do. And with your tarot cards, I got the star card for you, Tim. And the star, again, is that beautiful dreams, hopes, and wishes. You have them. You have this plan, this divine plan, this wisdom is like you can see it, you can taste it, you can feel it, but it's like there's this fear that you don't know if you're going to fall short. That just jumped in my head, like you're going to fall short being able to accomplish it. But you know what, again, get out that stinking thinking, because your overall energy was the 10 of Wands reversed. And so when it's upright, it's that burden, that struggle. So don't let that burden, that struggle, that worry, too much responsibility overcome you. And with it being reversed, to me, it's a good sign that you're acknowledging that that there is some struggle going on, that you have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, but just having faith and knowing that if you keep following that star, that divine inner guidance, you're going to be able to come out on top, and you're going to be able to manifest those dreams. And when you realize that, that brings that light out to you. And it says, wow, oh yeah, very true, my struggle, yeah. And I think a lot of us too are going through that, especially right now, this time of year.
Yeah.
Moving forward into 2025, it's going to be kind of scary for a lot of us, but we all have the spiritual support there, we have the wisdom, we have the strength. And I just love that star card for you.
It's beautiful.
I do have a plan, just not acting on hard enough. Let me pull another card, Tim. So I typically don't do reversal, so let me just see. All I got was pull another card. Oh, okay. Two of Cups reversed. So the Two of Cups, has to do with relationships, whether they're personal, they're intimate, well, they're business. But for me too, this has to do with our own self, our own inner relationship with our inner self. And you said you're struggling. I have a plan. You're not acting on it. This Two of Cups actually did come out reversed. So it shows that yes, you are struggling. It's something that you have to you just got to take that leap of faith. Our Lady of the Sacred Heart says if it's something to do with something, old patterns in the past, something that didn't work out, now you're afraid to make that leap, your inner self is more accurate. um just out of curiosity, what's on the bottom? Four of Wands. You do that though, Tim, that overall energy is going to be the Four of Wands, and that's about celebration. Enjoying celebration for self, for home. It's a building a foundation. It's happiness, it's community. So like Kathy would say, stinking thinking. You got to get out of that. And Two of Cups reverse lacks commitment. Thank you, Allison. So there's Allison's insight with the reversal for cups. So you just got to get your ending cycles. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got this, Tim. We believe in you, but you got to believe in yourself. And alrighty, so we're at 6:38, so I do have to end the show.
Yes.
So everybody, I will be back definitely on Friday with Allison. It's Yule. So I'm going to see if maybe we can have a couple people maybe join Allison and I for Yule, or do some sort of Yuletide celebration readings. And you're so welcome, Tim. Yeah, ending those negative cycles. I know it can be hard. Easier said than done. But yeah. But like that Sophia says, you got that divine wisdom, that intelligence, you can do it. So it's all in you.
Mm-hmm.
So Alrighty, everybody. Thank you again for joining Nancy and
This
I.
has
We
been
hope,
great. Thank you,
yes,
everyone.
it is. And thank you, Mother Mary, for the beautiful messages
Yes.
and
Yes.
blessing us with your presence. And have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. And we will see you later. Mwah.
Bye.